Hey everybody, welcome to episode 6 of Let's Play Kerbal Space Program. We are sitting on the launch pad with what will hopefully be a rocket that is capable of reaching the moon and establishing orbit. You know what? I want to change my crew members out. Jebediah, I need to go to the vehicle assembly. So, Jebediah did the most recent mission. It is now Valentina's turn. With Valentina on the launch pad, we have one goal. Fly a vessel anywhere near the moon to achieve it. So basically, just want to get into the moon's sphere of influence and then back again. If we happen to establish moon orbit, so much the better. Valentina can get out and do a whole bunch of EVA reports, identifying potential moon biomes. We did bring with us a temperature scanner, so we can do some stuff along the way. We have a battery and a transmitter in case we want to get some extra science. I think we're pretty much ready for launch on this morning, so moonshot. In 3, 2, 1, go! Alright, we immediately need to push over. Get ourselves locked on, turn off SAS, and let gravity and aerodynamics do the rest. We are hoofing it. We're moving awfully fast. Valentina seems pretty happy with the situation, though. Solid fuel is gone. The next stage. I am actually not going to push this too hard. I want to get us moved over like so we can get on the right plane. Turn, rocket. I need to apply some thrust sideways here. Otherwise I'll have a big massive plane change later. Alright, let's turn off SAS and let the rocket fly itself as best it can. Okay, we're at a place now where I can really start punching up the throttle. As our rocket begins tipping over, now that we have patched conics, we can do this. We can click on the AP flag and pull it up. So we're gaining altitude with this stage. Trying to get this pushed up to 70 kilometers or higher. SAS on. Valentina, take us prograde. So Valentina's level 1. She now has the prograde and retrograde markers available as autopilot options. And we're getting this rocket to just push up as quickly as we can. I like this flight profile, though. It's looking pretty good. 71. Okay, now we need to add a maneuver here to get our circularization done. Something like that. Back to here to watch the remainder of our fuel vanish. And any moment now. There it goes. Next stage. And just that little bit more until this apoapsis is exactly where we want it. Okay, 72 by 71.8. That's a pretty darn good orbit. And we have maybe 80 seconds worth of fuel left or so. We are now in space. Everything's looking good. Turn off SAS. And now we just plot a course for the moon. So if you haven't gone to the moon before, there's a couple things that you need to do. I'm going to set it as a target, and you need to make sure that your orbital plane is the same as the moon's. So ours is actually off by 2.6 degrees. Fortunately, that ascending node happens to be in a pretty good location to fix it. So I'm going to go ahead and stick a maneuver down, pull this forward, And I have these maneuvers available to me because I unlocked both the both mission control at level 2, upgraded to level 2, and the tracking station to level 2. So the best way to reach the moon is to just get this orbit that's just about as big as the orbit of the moon, and then pull this around until you see an encounter like this. Now we see that we have a plane change problem, so we're kind of coming on a strange plane to the moon. I want to get equatorial, or as equatorial as I can, so I'm going to add some orbit antinormal, which is a fancy word for south, and pull this maneuver node down, like so. So, we need to go ahead and face this maneuver. Get ourselves set up for that right now. Oops. SAS. Right there. And I will fast forward to that point and catch you just a moment. Okay, we are coming up rapidly on this burn now. And we're still just barely in daylight. So let's go ahead and punch up the throttle and get this thing going. So we're burning 1.6 fuel per second, which means basically when we get down to 80, we have 50 seconds worth of fuel. And all we're aiming for in this particular thing is a flyby of the moon. All we need to do is get there. If I can get into orbit, so much the better. But you can see it's burning. We're burning through a lot of fuel on this thing. We have a really efficient engine, 345 ISP. It's pretty darn good. 2, 1, 0. Let's go to the map and correct any residuals that I want to fix. Prograde's the best grade. Just a little bit more to get this pushed out to an appropriate rendezvous. Now, since I'm coming up on the ascending node, I need to face south. So south, south, south. 180. And what this is going to do is fix this plane change, so that we end up with a more equatorial orbit. So I'll just get this ascending node down to as close to 0 as I possibly can. There we have it. Negative 0 point whatever. And we are on our way to the moon. Our battery's looking good. We can turn SAS off to save the battery, just make sure we're stable. And thus far, Valentina Kerbin is performing like a champ. So now that we've planned our maneuver, we have an intercept with the moon, we are going to head out to this moon encounter, and then from there, plan a maneuver that's basically going to send us on a return trajectory back to Kerbin. As you can see right now, the moon will flip us, will kind of gravity pull us quite a ways out there, and we want to avoid that. We want to be able to get back and make use of all this science we have going on. So I am going to fast forward to the moon encounter, and I will talk to you guys when we get there. So hang tight. Here we go. Okay, we've just reached moon encounter, and we can see that this flyby is coming in at 75,000 meters. Let's take a look at what we see here. There's Kerbin way out there. There's the moon. What I want to do is go like this. Stop moving, you ship. This is a screenshot for the episode. F2. Okay, we are now in the moon's sphere of influence. So, crew report while in space, high over the moon. You look down at the cold gray surface, it looks really beat up with craters. keep that data. Actually, we will go ahead and transmit that and see how much energy that actually uses. Uses about 50 energy, so we can't do a lot of those. That's fine. I want to get stable. Observe materials bay. Materials study while in space high over the moon. The high radiation environment caused a few of the samples to glow. It looks like it would be fun to paint the rocket with this. Let's keep that data. Open our service bay and really start taking a look at some of this stuff. Mystery goo observation. Mystery goo observation while in space high over the moon. The goo feels right at home here. Recovery 20 science. Keep that data. And log the temperature. Measuring the temperature of space appears to be quite impossible, as there is no matter around to either be hot or cold, except the spacecraft and the thermometer itself. This is probably going to give the R&D guys something to think about for a while. And our last bit of science out here, EVA report from space high over the moon. You've recorded your observations about the situation. We will keep that and board back into the craft. Okay, now the real question is, if we add a maneuver here to establish orbit, we're looking at a 10-second burn. Which means 20 seconds of fuel altogether to get out. So 1.6. That's almost exactly 20 seconds. I think we're running a little short on fuel to establish a good orbit. But what we can do... Oh yeah, we got this contract done. Talk about close encounters any closer and there'd be paperwork. So what I can do on this one is add a maneuver and get ourselves actually closer to the moon. Right? Basically it's facing this way. Let's turn on SAS. Keep an eye on our resources here. Turn on SAS. So I'm pointing toward this marker which is radial in. And we're just going to kick up the thrusters a little bit. Watch this periapsis and get it down to maybe 25 kilometers. How about 30 kilometers? 210. 30 kilometers above the moon. Now, if I want orbit, what does it take to get orbit? 12 seconds. Let me just check the old calculator here. Go to my phone. Pull up my phone calculator. Okay. 36.67 divided by 1.6 fuel flow is 22 seconds. So, reaching orbit is going to be 12 seconds. Escaping orbit, another 12 seconds. That's 24 seconds. Plus whatever maneuvers we need to make to establish a re-entry trajectory from the moon. That is going to end us up putting us way over any sort of delta V budget we have right now. So in order to conserve fuel, at this point, basically we are looking at not doing this maneuver. Thank you very much. And now what I could do though, yes, what I could do, oops, didn't mean to do that, is rather than going for a full low orbit, go for a high orbit, which only takes 5 seconds of fuel. And then it would only take 5 seconds of fuel to escape. So that is what we can do. Achieve goal. Fly by the moon. The problem is... to get back out... I don't know. I'm really frightened of the amount of fuel we have. I think it's best if we just let ourselves fly by. But the question is, after we fly by, right about here, can we get ourselves back to Kerbin? What's that maneuver take? That's a super close pass. So a maneuver like that takes 18 seconds. And it's still not low enough. We could get re-entry at 20 seconds. Yeah, I think that's the way to go. It's just a nice low flyby. So, let's see here. I got all the science done that I could get done here, right? Yep. No. God dang it. Wrong button. Keep that data. We already did our EVA. Okay, well, we're going to get a close pass EVA in some places here. Let's go ahead and head over to the moon. And warp there. Okay, I want to get an EVA right now over this crater if I can. I got the moon's highlands. Okay, let's fast forward a little bit and see if this is a slightly different biome. Again, I'm just doing EVAs around here, much like I did on that episode when I did this around Kerbin. Nope, that's the same one. Okay, so we just got the highlands. I missed that crater by just a little bit. And I don't think we're going to be close enough for any of these other ones. So, I guess our next maneuver is for this flyby. Now, if I was really clever, I could have actually planned myself a free return trajectory. Maybe I'll do that some other time, just to show you guys how that's done. But, basically what I need to do is I need to add a maneuver right now to bring my orbit down so that my periapsis is within Kerbin's sphere of influence, or within Kerbin's atmosphere. Something about like that. 20-second burn is what it says. And we don't have a lot of control over where we're landing, really. So this is a bit of a longer episode. Get the periapsis highlighted so I can see what it's doing. There's that other moon encounter that we're going to avoid. Man, we are going through our fuel super fast. I hope I have enough. Okay, this needs some real granular control because I'm trying to hit a particular mark. I think I'm going to aim for 30 kilometers. I just hope I can get that low. Yep. Okay, 31 kilometers is good. We have just barely enough fuel to get all that done. All right. Now, before anything else happens, Valentina Kerbin needs to get out and retrieve some experimental data. So, get your jetpack on, turn on some lights. And let's get this stuff. collect that data. Collect that data. I think the thermostat one we can actually just sort of transmit. So this EVA stuff had to be a little slow and patient. Grab on. Board. Okay, can't do anything with those. Let's review this and transmit that. No, I want to keep it. Alright, Valentina, you gotta go get the temperature data too. Where is it? Gotta zoom in here and find that. Boop. Take that data. Whoa. Oh, come on. Finicky stuff. Okay, we have all that done. Now, in order to not mess up my trajectory, as far as going prograde or retrograde, well, before we do that, let's review our data. Okay, so we have a temperature display, EVA report, another EVA report, materials study, mystery goo. We're coming back with a bunch of science. Just go ahead and keep all this stuff. Mark it as kept. And save that. And we still have the correct reentry attitude. Everything else is up to gravity. Goodbye, service module. You have served us well. Alright, here it is. We are now re-entering the atmosphere. We started re-entering at about 40 kilometers. Our ablator hasn't started burning off yet, which is good. But we're coming in at lunar velocities now, so yeah, like nearly 3,000 meters per second, 3 kilometers per second. Heat shield's getting hotter and hotter. But everything else, oh, here it goes. Everything else is in good shape. The hair-raising fireball that is re-entry. We see our ablator getting used up in this and burning off speed as we plunge ever deeper into the thickening atmosphere. Okay, we're starting to use less ablator per second, so that's good. Still burning off speed like crazy. Backspace. It looks like 30 kilometers from the moon was just about right. There we go. Whoa. Our camera has flipped us around, which means we no longer have an orbit. We're now coming in for a nice landing somewhere. As long as I don't do something stupid and tap the spacebar too early, we are all set. Okay, it looks like everything's stable here, so I am actually going to talk to you guys on Splashdown when we summarize all the science and the mission accomplishments we made, so hang tight for that. Alright, we've just had a good shoot deployment and are slowing down, coming down for a nice landing on the dark side of Kerbin, with Valentina Kerbin in tow. She'll gain some experience. And we have a whole bunch of science that we're retrieving on this particular mission. And this was just a moon flyby. So hang tight for just a second or two longer while we set down into the water. Just like so. Kersplash. Alright. our pod is more or less stable. One thing we can do is have Valentina get out. Store that experiment. Let go and get an EVA report while we're in the water. Keep that data. And she's back on board. So we just got a little bit more science for that. Recover. Alright, so here are our accomplishments. We did an EVA report while space high over the moon, an EVA report from space just above the moon's highlands, materials study while in space high over the moon, mystery goo observation while in space high over the moon, a temperature scan while in space high over the moon, an EVA report while flying over Kerbin's water, an EVA report from Kerbin's water, and recovery of a vessel that returned from the flyby of the moon. 146 science gained plus whatever we had before, 191 science. So we didn't get very much funds back, but you know, Valentina Kerbin has gained 2 experience points. And that is it for episode 6 of Let's Play Kerbal Space Program. Thanks for tuning in. In episode 7, we'll spend all of this science we got going on and see what's next. So until then, thanks for watching. Goodbye.